Good morning, students. So today we will continue the same chapter 2. In the previous video we were talking about some of the abiotic factors and we have discussed two of them. So today we will talk about air. Okay. Air is a mixture of many gases: water vapor, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, ozone, etc. Oxygen is essential for our survival. Similarly, carbon dioxide is essential for plants. So we understand this fact that air is very important for life on this earth. Some of the life supporting gases like oxygen, nitrogen and carbon dioxide are very essential for us. Oxygen, like every living organism requires oxygen. Then nitrogen, of course. Nitrogen, as you know that the plants need that nitrogen. Okay, different components of nitrogen, which is you know that when it is mixed up with that soil, there are certain other processes which helps in mixing that nitrogen to the soil, and which is needed by which is a very important or essential component for the plants. Carbon dioxide. Okay, so without carbon dioxide there will be no photosynthesis, as we can understand. One more thing about carbon dioxide is that carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas and it helps the earth to remain warm even at night. Ozone also is a greenhouse gas. Okay, carbon dioxide is very essential for plants because if there is no carbon dioxide there will be no photosynthesis. Plants absorb carbon dioxide during the process of photosynthesis. They retain carbon and release oxygen. So during the process of photosynthesis, what happens? The plants take in that carbon dioxide, that is CO2. Okay, you can see it in the figure. And after processing, oxygen is released. Okay, so they keep that carbon and release oxygen. Ozone in the atmosphere, it is very important since it protects us from the harmful ultraviolet radiation, okay, which is present in the insolation. Moving air is termed as wind. Light wind gives us a pleasing feeling. Wind assists the process of evaporation. It also helps in the pollination of flowering plants. Electricity can be generated using wind energy. Meanwhile, strong wind during cyclone is responsible for large-scale destruction. So what is wind? Wind is moving air. Alright, when light wind is blowing, it gives us a soothing effect, a pleasing feeling. Alright, we are very much relaxed when that light wind is blowing. Wind also helps us, alright, in different other activities, like in agriculture, it helps in pollination. We use that wind to generate electricity also, that is wind energy. Alright, along with that, it also helps in evaporation. Now, relief. What is relief? The nature of land. What is that relief? The nature of land, whether it is having a very gentle slope or steep slope, or whether it is a low-lying area, so we call it relief. The nature of land or relief influences human activities. Plains are more suitable, as you know that agriculture can be practiced in the plains. Alright, practicing agriculture or constructing houses or the construction of roads, it is very easy if we are doing it in the plains. Hence, maximum population, you can say, the villages or the towns or the cities are settled there in the plains. Along with the infrastructure development, agriculture, industrial development, everything is done in the plain regions. Hilly regions being inaccessible because reaching there is very difficult. If valleys are there, steep slopes are there, alright, construction of railways, roadways is very difficult. So these areas remain backward. Okay. But there are certain hill stations which are a little bit developed because of tourism. Now, that was all about abiotic factors. Now, today we will start biotic factor also. Biotic factors in the environment can be classified as first producers, second primary consumers, third secondary consumers, and fourth decomposers. So one by one we will talk about all these biotic factors. The first one is producers. So who are the producers? All types of green vegetation is termed as producers. Why they are called producers? Because they are able to prepare their own food in the presence of sunshine, and the process is known as photosynthesis. So we call these plants as autotrophs, okay, because they are able to produce their own food, they are able to prepare their own food, so we call them autotrophs. Alright, so these are producers, you can see. Alright, so we call them plants, different type of green vegetation, we call them producers. Now the second one, primary consumers. Who are the primary consumers? Herbivorous. It means grass eating animals. They are termed as primary consumers. For example, rabbit, deer, sheep, crow. Why we are calling them consumers? Because they are not able to prepare their own food. Okay, they are dependent on autotrophs. They are dependent on producers. So we call them primary consumers. Since they are directly dependent on the plants, we call them primary consumers. We call them herbivorous, or we can also call them grass eating animals. Okay. Now the next one is secondary consumers. These are flesh eating animals. We also call them carnivorous animals. For example, fox, tiger, lion. Okay, so these are the examples of secondary consumers. Now the next topic is decomposers. They are also very important in this environment. Decomposers. They are the microscopic bacteria, insects, etc., which help in the process of decomposition of dead bodies of the animals or dead parts of plants. This is a very essential process, as various elements in the decomposed body are separated as nutrients soluble in water, gases, and as other elements through the process of decomposition. These elements are again absorbed back into the natural system by producers, that is vegetation, consumers, etc. Now, decomposers are very important. Okay, why these are very important? Because these are microscopic bacteria or insects, and it helps in the process of decomposition. Alright, you know that when we learnt about that producers, that is plants, so what plants do? They take in carbon dioxide. They also absorb water and minerals from the soil. Alright, then in the presence of sunlight, one process starts that is called photosynthesis. So different elements which the plants has taken in, alright, these are the simple elements. It is changed into complex things, complex material, that is starch. Alright, now the primary consumers, they consume those plants, so that starch enters in their body. The carnivorous, it also eats the herbivorous, the plant eating animals. Okay, in a way they are all dependent on the plants, but they are taking in complex material. But after their death, when a plant dies or an animal dies, okay, its body is having all those complex material. So the decomposers, that is microscopic bacteria, it changes that complex material back into simple substances. Got that? That is why decomposers are very important. Okay, so the elements which the plant has taken in, alright, whether it is from the atmosphere or whether it is from the lithosphere or whether it is from the hydrosphere, that is water part, everything goes back to the environment and again it is utilized by the plants. Alright, so that cycle continues. Understood? That is why the decomposers are very essential. Einstein had said that in this world, nothing new is created, not destroyed. Got? So according to Albert Einstein, in this world, nothing is created and no anything is destroyed. There is a cycle. Got? There is a cycle. Only the form is changed. Example, our body is composed of many elements like taken from nature, and our body acts as a system in which we consume food, retain essential part, and the unwanted part is given out. After our death also, elements of our body are separated and absorbed in the environment. So this is how these decomposers are very essential for the environment. So in the next video we will talk about the food chain. Thank you.